Emergency Locked On Baylor short because this Bryce Underwood news is taking over the college football world, and it's something that all college football fans need to be privy to. Bryce Underwood, the number one recruit in the nation, 5-star quarterback from the state of Michigan, has flipped his commitment from LSU to Michigan. Now you might be saying, well, that makes sense. The kid's from Michigan. Michigan won the national championship last year. Michigan really needs a quarterback. All of those things are true. But this one's pretty fishy. First, he had, as an assistant coach only during the playoff run right now for Belleville High, Connor Stallions. You might remember him. He was coaching at a different Michigan high school this year, coaching a team in Detroit. He was the DC and the interim head coach. And now all of a sudden, he is an assistant for the best team in Michigan, maybe even the entire Midwest, for the playoff run. And the quarterback just so happens to be a priority for the University of Michigan. And now he's flipped from LSU to the Wolverines. The other thing that is kind of fishy about this, and I guess it's above board these days in college football, is Barstool Sports owner Dave Portnoy, noted Michigan alum, said a few weeks ago, I'll hand out a couple million to any quarterback, any top-tier quarterback who will come to play at Michigan. And now Bryce Underwood has committed to Michigan. And Dave Portnoy is doing a video on social media with the crown and the staff and everything, talking about how the conversations he had with the Underwood family and setting up a plan for Bryce to come play for the University of Michigan. I guess that's what you can do now, but this isn't good for college football. I know. There are going to be people out there who are saying, well, what's the alternative? You're just going to go back to what the NCAA did before and not let them get anything? No, but this kind of situation is why there are people out there pushing for contracts for these college athletes. The transfer portal has gotten wild. NIL is wild and has been from the very beginning. And now you've got bombshell news like this where LSU has had their guy the whole season. And at the 10th hour, maybe not the 11th, but the 10th hour, he flips to go and play for Michigan because someone very publicly is saying he'll give him a couple $1 million to go play at his alma mater. This stuff isn't even being kept in the shadows anymore, people. And of course, for us Baylor fans, it reeks of Austin Novosad. It just reeks of it. Remember that 2 years ago? That was at the 11th hour, the day before National Signing Day, when you had Novosad committing to Baylor and doubling down after visiting Ohio State and A&M and Notre Dame, doubling down, saying he's going to go to Baylor. And then all of a sudden, Oregon comes in at the last second, offers a couple $1 million. He doesn't even go and see campus. He is out and he's an Oregon Duck. This is the kind of thing that is going to kill college football as we know it, if it's even still alive as we know it. But this goes to show it doesn't happen to just the smaller schools like Baylor or Purdue or Duke or Stanford or name whichever. It can happen to LSU. If you could get outbid at the 10th hour when you're LSU, it can happen to anybody. So is it enough to have a good athletic department, great facilities, a great coach, and a pretty darn good NIL structure? Because apparently it's not. Apparently you're also going to need an eccentric millionaire or billionaire in a lot of cases to swoop in with these 7-figure checks just whenever in order to get the best players in the country. I use the Novosad example. Phil Knight's got some money. I'm surprised Oklahoma State has not done it. Or maybe they haven't done it effectively with T. Boone Pickens. And Dave Portnoy, very rich, not even a billionaire though, gets to swoop in and get these guys at the second to last second. This is not good for college football. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. And this is even my team. I shouldn't care about this, but I am fired up about this because we've seen it happen to Baylor. And this happening to a school like LSU, again, proves that it can happen to anyone. And these are like jobs on the line too. Not that Brian Kelly is the most sympathetic figure in the world, and he's not trending the right way right now. But losing a guy like that can set your program back years, and he's going to be out of a job. And it could set back LSU a little bit to not have the number one recruit in the country all of a sudden. It could happen to Florida. If they lose DJ Lagway, if someone comes in with $5 million to just give to DJ Lagway, they're screwed. And they're not a good team right now. And their head coach is then gone. And it's all up in the air. So it can really happen to anyone. And why is this the way that college football is? There are ways that we can pay these guys and have a transfer portal without it having to be the Wild West. But apparently, the Wild West is what it has to be. Because nothing is changing. Nothing. And in fact, if we go more towards paying these as like university employees, it's going to get more wild. You're just going to see more of this. And you're going to see people getting fired and just losing their scholarships and losing the money that they're getting. And it doesn't have to be because of injury. It doesn't have to be because of something off the field. It can be performance-based. You know, in this scenario, Baylor could have just like cut Blake Shapen last year and said, okay, bye, we're not paying you anymore, and you don't have a scholarship. Best of luck. These things happen in the shadows for years with injuries and off the field stuff and, you know, finding a spot for a better player. But now it's happening all in front of our face. Because now anybody can send a coach out to coach in high school and just say, okay, join this staff because we want this kid. Or just call up whatever media mogul alum they have and say, hey, could you swoop in with a couple million? We'll actually pay you like $1 million back. But we can get this kid. And why don't you talk to the parents? Because there are times in the year where we cannot, the coaching staff, the athletic department, even other players on the team. But if you do it and we tell you what to do, we can get this thing done. Boy, SMU people have got to be pissed because they were just doing this kind of stuff in the 80s. It ruined their program. And now it's fair game that the number one player in the nation can just be sweet-talked and set up a plan through his family with Dave Portnoy, and they can get a deal done. I know there are plenty of people barking already about how college football is already like this, and college football is already done for even those smaller Power 4 schools, which is the situation we find ourselves in at Baylor. But the more it's in plain sight, the more it's just going to happen. And the NCAA has no grip on this whatsoever. None of the conferences do. The NCAA does not. And nothing is moving quick enough for this to change. This is just going to keep happening. So if that's the name of the game, Dave Aranda, Baylor, go send some of your assistants out to coach at Duncanville and DeSoto and North Shore and wherever, South Lake Carroll, and just go in wherever the top recruit in Texas is and just send your coach to coach there. It doesn't even need to be for the whole season, but you go there, get in his ear and flip him. And we'll get Angela Kinsey to pay some money. Like that's what this is becoming. And yeah, frankly, I think it sucks. I really do think it sucks. And it's just going to crush the little guy even more. So it's been this myth the last year with the 12-team playoff and everything that's going on with NIL of, oh, you know, you can't just pay people willy-nilly. You got to have a collective. Well, everyone's found a way around that. And now we've got the 12-team playoff. This is going to be good for the little guy. This will get those liberties and even those BYUs into this thing. But at the first time of asking, they're saying, well, you know, actually, I like this 3-loss SEC team better than I like BYU. Or, Boise State, if they lose another game, I really like Ole Miss instead. Or Penn State can lose as many ranked games as they want, but they could just sit there in the top 5 because their losses are quality. We have lost the plot already, and we haven't even started it. The 12-team playoff does not help the little guy. It just helps more of the big guys. And it's the same thing with NIL, and it's the same thing you are seeing with this Bryce Underwood situation. So fans of all around college football, from those of us, the little guy like Baylor and TCU and Tech, to even the big dogs like LSU, they're coming for you too. Let me know what you think. Drop it down in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We are dropping videos every day. We are the #1 source for Baylor exclusive content from anyone that's not involved directly with Baylor University. And we're damn proud of that. So we will see you on the next one. Locked on Baylor.